Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an early look at Space Engineers, or as some might call it, Space Simulator 2015. No, don't ever call it that. Anyway, this is a space physics-based sandbox survival game. Creative game. Yeah, it's got a lot of hats that it's wearing, and there's a lot to it. So let's just hop right in here. We're going to do a custom world. I'm going to stick it in creative mode. We're going to do easy start. Yeah, just easy start 1. As you can see, there's a whole bunch of different options. So you can do an empty world where there is nothing. There's no asteroids, no ships, no nothing. Then there's the asteroids world, which is kind of like your basic survival. You start off in a rescue ship, you have basically nothing, and you have to, create things from nothing. 2 platforms, competitive 2-team multiplayer world. So this, if you wanted to do kind of a PvP type deal, which I'm not sure if PvP is actually enabled. I haven't actually looked into PvP. We have a multiplayer server set up for us, but we've never actually tried to attack each other. So, I don't actually think we have guns, to be honest. Crashed red ship is more than likely a crashed red ship. I haven't actually checked that one out. And lone survivor is you start on an abandoned asteroid with no ships. You have to start from scratch. I think this is what we started our multiplayer server as. You have the 1 platform, and we spawned in, on these ships here, the rescue ships. Easy Start 2, I have not checked out. It seems like you start with a larger space station than you do with Easy Start 1 and maybe a couple more ships. We're going to do Easy Start 1 just because it's the one I'm most familiar with and gives us a good overview of what you can do. So you can choose offline, private, friends, or public multiplayer. Obviously, I'm going to just do offline. And you can choose how many players. And then there's your environment hostility. So you can do safe, normal, cataclysm, or Armageddon, unrealistic. We're going to choose safe because, well, we don't want to be really interrupted with meteor showers. Normal, you'll get some meteor showers every now and then. Cataclysm is you're pretty much dead. Lots and lots of meteor showers. Armageddon is, as it says, unrealistic. You're just, bombarded. I'm going to be honest, I haven't tried the Cataclysm or Armageddon. So anything I said about those is purely guesswork. So we're doing safe because that's safe. And then, of course, you've got your advanced options, which gives you a whole butt ton of additional options. Thruster damage. I'm actually going to turn thruster damage off because I don't want the thrusters to... Actually, it doesn't matter in creative. It really doesn't. You can do cargo ships, random cargo ships. Enable spectator mode will allow people to come in and just watch what's going on. Reset ownership is a handy thing when it comes down to troubleshooting issues with permissions. You can set permissions on certain blocks and have it set to just you. Because this is still very early in its development, those permissions can go all kind of... And if you're on a multiplayer world and you respawn without... a respawn station, one of the medical stations, which I'll get into, you start as a whole new character and actually resets your character ID and everything, it seems. So anything that was owned by you is no longer owned by you. So trash auto removal, this gets rid of trash. It's kind of a resource management. It allows the game to clean itself up. So I'm going to leave that unchecked for now. Delete respawn ships. This is handy because when you spawn, you'll spawn in a new ship. When you log off with delete respawn ship, when you log off or die or whatever, that ship will disappear. If you have delete respawn ship off, it will stay. That's just all it is. Autosave. I'm going to disable autosave because it causes unnecessary pausing. Enable copy and paste. I have not used copy and paste. And auto healing. Auto heals player during periods of not receiving injuries, which is handy. It's kind of fun auto heal, surprisingly enough. So let's just hit that and let's hop in here. All right, so here we are, kind of wobbly. Why are we wobbly? Anyway, here we are on our platform. And as you can see, we have gravity. And in the lower right corner, you can see the gravity. We've got 1G and apparently 2Gs here. I don't know why there's 2Gs here. This is actually confusing me. I don't know, because we've got, as far as I can tell, we've got just one gravity generator. It's a nuclear generator. Like, this is our gravity generator here. It says right there, gravity generator. Gravity generator. Hurrah. So anyway, this is where you start. You start with this lovely platform. And this is the easy start one, like I said. And you've got the 3 ships there. You've got a large ship and another ship. There it is. Way the hell over there. And as you can see, there are a lot of different things going on right now. So you've got these guys here are landing legs. I don't quite understand why they're upside down here. I'm guessing this is for like a landing dock. That cube that's just kind of floating there, I have no idea what it's for. I don't know why it's there. Maybe as an indicator to say, hey, this is where you can build your ship. I don't know. I do not know. This is not something that we had on our server. Let's, wrong key. Let's take a look here. This is a grinding machine. So it's got 3 grinders. And essentially what this is if you put a small ship in here, or hell, if you can fit a large ship in there, any parts or anything will just get ground down to their base components. We'll get into the building and stuff in a little bit. So, what this game has is a lot of stuff. Mostly a lot of controls. There are so many controls. So like you've got your Q and your E, which do your rotate. WASD is your forward, back, left, right, you know, your typical movement stuff. And with your gravity off or your jetpack on, you will follow your cursor for the most part. But remember, this is very physics-based. So movement, you can't just turn around and expect to start immediately going the other way. You see there's that nice lag there, and it depends a lot on how fast you're going. And that is because of the lack of gravity. It's crazy how much gravity actually affects us. So with your jetpack and with ships, you have a dampener, which is by default the Z key. So as you can see, I'm flipping it on and off. So with dampeners on, I just hold forward and then I will come to a stop. Because your dampeners will reverse your whatever direction you're going to keep you still, but only when you're not accelerating. Now, the problem with that is you're going to constantly have to accelerate, so you're going to be using more fuel than you will need to, which uses more energy. So if you turn off dampeners, you won't slow down. Now, if you want to slow down manually and you go backwards, it takes quite a while to actually slow yourself down with the dampeners. Without the dampeners. Versus with the dampeners, let's get closer. And I will fire my dampeners right about now. Oh, that was horrible. That was a horrible thing. I hit the wrong key at the wrong time, and I ran into my ship. That would have hurt. I think actually at that speed that might have killed me. if I wasn't in creative. So basically what it is the dampeners will actually stop you much faster. They have a much higher boost than your overall thruster packs, which is quite handy. It allows you to just slow down and then move and just stop. You don't have to auto-correct yourself because it will do it automatically. It's kind of like an autopilot type deal. So now, same goes true for these ships. Big ships and these small ships. Those ones over there are small ships. This guy is a big ship. So let's take a look at the big ship first. This is a ginormous ship. This has gravity. This has a 2.0 gravity, which it seems really high, to be honest. Let's head up here. This is a control station. There are 3 different types of control stations. One of them's for small, it's just a cockpit for small ships, and then there's 2 for space station and large ships. So to get in there, default key is T. So here we are in this ship. I'm holding Alt down, and I can navigate around the ship. Thing with large ships is they only work in third person. And this is also where you'll be able to actually see the dampening. So as you can see, it's firing retrograde in order to slow the ship down to 0. And then we can go forward. Very, very slowly, because the ship has a massive amount of mass to it, and only these 2 thrusters, which isn't enough to actually get this ship going very quickly. But again, we got the dampeners going, which drop us down to 0, which also reduces our power usage. Now, every ship, every space station, pretty much everything has this terminal, I guess. This is gotten. You can get in here by pressing the I key by default. I have it remapped to R just because it's more convenient for me. And this is where you can see your inventory and the inventory of the ship or station, whatever that you're attached to. Now, in the cockpit, you can't do really anything with inventory. Well, you can move it there, but you can't move it to you. You can only move it to inventories that are attached via conveyors. So if we head over to the control panel, we can see every item that is attached to the ship that's not just a standard block. You know, this will only show interactable items. So we've got 35 thrusters on this beast. That is 35 small thrusters. That's insane. 7 large thrusters, a missile turret, 10 passenger seats, a rocket launcher, and 5 small cargo containers. That's insane. 2 large reactors. The reactors are what produce the power. You can see here max power output is 100 megawatts, and it's currently outputting 322 kilowatts. So we're not using a whole lot of power from these guys. This is your maintenance. This is what this ship requires just to idle. Your large containers, interior lights, landing gear, all the things that you would expect in a ship. And you've got your gravity generator, so your field width, field height, field depth, acceleration. This is 1G, so that's probably why it was 2, because it was combining with the stations. Turret, bunch of doors. Your connectors. Connectors are useful for connecting a ship to a station or a ship to a ship. We'll get into that later. Collectors, I have no idea what the collectors are for, to be honest. I believe they just collect debris. So if by chance you are mining something out and you've got a stone that flies off and it hits a collector, the collector will actually grab it and put it into its inventory. But I haven't played around with collectors too much. So this guy here has got a cockpit and another cockpit. Look at that. Cockpit 2 and Cockpit 3. These are the two different types of cockpits. We're in, I think, cockpit 2 is where we are. You can control thrusters, wheels, handbrake, you know, all of the things. All of the things. And this is your beacon. So you can broadcast at a certain radius. So you can increase that to infinite. Well, that's nice. That must be new. Or that's a single player only thing. Because I don't remember ever having that. I remember 10,000 being the highest. You can have it on or off, and you can choose a name. This is that green name that you see. The doors, this is a group which shows all of the doors. So all of the doors are included in this door group. The Gatling turrets, again, all the Gatling turret, all one of them. Yeah, there's only one, so it's kind of pointless to have it. But all your Gatling turrets would be in this group. And these are created. These would be created by going and you would select all of this and give it a block group. So if I wanted to do interior lights, I could do int lights. There we go. And there we go. And this, I can turn them all off and all on. It's just that simple. I can change all of their colors. Let's make it a sickly green. And now, if we press T to get out, all of the lights are a sickly green. Isn't that just delightful? So, that's your control panel. Your inventory, this is your side, this is theirs, this is the ship side. You can switch it, so you can have ship to ship. You can choose, you can filter your storage, so you can do, what is this one? System inventory, so you got your Gatling, your rocket, and your missile. And then on this side, I've got storage inventories. So, this is your connector, collector, your large containers, your small containers, all the containers. All of the things, all of the things. And then you've got your production menu. As you can see, there are no assemblers on this ship. The production menu is only for assemblers, at least at this point, assembling and disassembling of products. We will get to that when we go and sit at the station. Info, this just tells you the info of the ship. So that's how many triangles it has if you're worried about performance. Gravity generators, lights, thrusters, conveyors, non-armor blocks, and blocks. Now, I don't know why it doesn't have armor blocks. I'm not sure if this ship has no armor blocks, or if it just doesn't show armor blocks. Or if any other block that's not an armor block is not a non-armor block is an armor block. But everything has kind of an armor rating. And then you've got this faction. Factions are... best way to describe a faction would be a guild. And the best way to describe a guild would be a faction. So, that's how I describe them. Basically, it's a grouping of like-minded people. If you're on a multiplayer server, you can create yourself a faction and have all of your friends in that faction. And then you can assign, if we go back to the control panel, you've got this ownership. So you can assign it to yourself. So we'll do that, and then you can share it with nobody, which means only you can access Cockpit 2. You can share it with your faction, which means anybody that's within your faction can access Cockpit 2. And you can share with all, which means anybody can use it, which is the same basically as nobody owns it. Right now, it's got a bit of a problem, at least with the server that we're on. When they first brought out this feature, I went and set all of my ships to me and share with my faction, and I had a faction set up. And unfortunately, Witten wasn't able to access them, and I wasn't able to access anything that was with him shared with my faction. And we both listed under faction, so if we created a faction, and we'll just do test. Yeah. Apparently you can only have 3 characters. So anyway, there we go. Test faction. And member is me, and we had Witten down there. And for some reason, I couldn't access his, and he couldn't access mine unless we put it to... I even tried the with all, and it still didn't do anything. So we had to set it to nobody. So this feature is just very, very new and not entirely up and running yet. So it might not be the best idea to use it. So let's hop out of this ship. And the sickly green of the sickly green out here. Let's hop up here and Geronimo! And once you get out of the gravity generating zone, your jetpack will turn on. So let's head over to the blue ship. Come on. And you move really, really quick with just your jetpack. But it does use a lot of your personal energy. And jetpack off. I don't remember this ship too much. Whoa, hello. I'm stuck. Really? That is a horrible place for a collector. That really is a horrible place for a collector. I know I'm not supposed to probably walk there, but it's a horrible place for a collector. And we've got a defense laser, it looks like. This is a cargo container. This is actually a really cool design, actually. I have no idea where the cockpit is on this thing. Do not step in the hole. Okay, this is clearly just for... Clearly just for cargo. You just park your ship in there. And this is the beacon, that where it says blue 2. That's your beacon, and this is the beacon block. Beacon block. There's another connector there. Another storage. Yeah, cargo container. That's the collector. Connector, collector. That's a thruster. This is the ass end of the ship. Where the hell is the cockpit? Honestly. I really would expect the cockpit to be, you know, somewhere around here. Hello, Gatling turret. Did they really put the cockpit in the back? Why do I have a feeling that the cockpit is in the back? Or not? Where the hell is the cockpit? I am sure that I was in the cockpit of this thing once. Ah. Is it here? Nope. What the hell? Alright, so screw this ship. No idea where the goddamn cockpit is. Holy crap. Alright, let's just head over to the platform then. And we will take a look at the assembler. Just fly over here at, you know, 90 meters per second. Whee! Alright, so let's pop into here. And oop. There we go. So, in production, this is the assembler. If you have multiple assemblers, they'll show up here. I've never dealt with multiple assemblers. We haven't gotten to a point where we needed multiple. So this is all of the things that you can create right now. So you've got your construction components. The two main items that you're going to really, or three actually, are going to be construction components, steel plates, and interior plate. Those seem to be the biggest ones that you're going to need. And as you can see, this requires 3.5 units, 3.5 kilos, I believe, of iron ingots. This requires 22. 9. So if we want to produce that, we hit that. And as you saw, like this is redded. This is read out. Yeah. So basically it means that it can't build it because as you can see on the center where it says stored materials, it needs 22 and 0 are available, but I built one. See? Built one. And that is because of the conveyor system. Let's go to the inventory. So we see here, we've got 2 in the assembler. And if we go down here, we've got our iron in our refinery. Well, those 2 blocks those are 2 different machines. And it's because of, let's pop out of here. It's because of these. I just bounced off of that. Because of these. These are your conveyor blocks. These transfer items from inventory to inventory. So we've got a cargo container here. This actually allows us to access anything that is connected via the conveyor. And it also allows access to the control panel as well. So you can do anything that you can do in the cockpit within any of the inventories. Doesn't matter, as long as they're connected to the station, you can access the, system. As long as they're connected to the conveyor, you can access the inventory. So everything is connected. You don't have to worry about running wires. Like, if we take a look at these solar panels, there's no wires. Bonk. I like to just kind of facepalm into things. Or faceplant. No wires or anything are run. As soon as you place the solar panels, they are immediately connected to the station. And it's just done. Now, I don't know if that's going to change, but as things sit right now, oh, cute little lights at the top, that is how it is. As long as it's connected, it's fine. So that's kind of how this all works. You can think of these conveyor systems as kind of like a Buildcraft type system. It's more advanced if you're familiar with Minecraft and Buildcraft. This is what you would think of it. It's just a conveyor system. It allows you to connect. It's an instant transfer system, so you don't have to wait. It's pretty much instantaneous. And by pretty much, I mean it totally is. So here's the refinery. This big demon. This is like the biggest block in the game. And I'm referring to it as a single block simply because... why the hell not? So then you've got the assembler, which is just this little guy. So the assembler also has a disassembling ability. So you can hit that and it will disassemble. And you recover the 22. See, I've got 44. Got the 22 units of iron. So it's very, very much lossless, except it uses energy. And to get energy, the most efficient way is with the nuclear reactor. Interesting. Should be popping me into the nuclear reactor. So we've got our reactor 2, reactor 3. Each one of them has 5 units of uranium. This will actually last quite a while. If we go to control panel and go to... well, we're already on the small reactor. Oh, it's not telling me how many days of storage it has. I think I have to be in the cockpit for that. Don't. Come on. There we go. I can use keyboard. TR. No. Usage. Fuel time, 1 day. If you look in the lower right corner, a third from the bottom, it says fuel time, 1 day. So you have 1 day of fuel with those 3 reactors at their current output. If I grabbed a whole bunch of ore and threw it into the refinery, that's obviously going to use more power, and it's obviously going to reduce the amount of time. But if I just idled like this, you'd have 1 day. And I think the time in this, like 1 day, is actually one, real day, like 24 Earth hours. There's no day-night cycle or anything like that in this. There's no real reason for it either. So, that is the basics of, well, Space Engineers. That you've got a whole bunch of different blocks, you've got a whole bunch of different ships. I haven't covered those ships. I haven't covered getting started, basic movement, and interactions. And I'm falling off the asteroid. No! And there we go. We're better. One thing to note is keep an eye on your energy bar. On the lower left, you see your energy, which is 100%. Do not let that drop to too low. It will give you a warning once you get down to 20%, but everything you do requires energy. So flying with your jetpack requires energy. Welding and grinding require energy. Everything draws the energy from your jetpack. And in order to... Why do I keep going into first-person view? Or third-person view? So once you get too low, you either need to come over to this medical room and you hold T and that will recharge you. Or if you go into any of the consoles here. So you can go into there, one in the ship. As long as the ship has power or the station has power, if you go into the console, you will automatically start recharging your energy. So it kind of acts as a life support system. There is no oxygen or anything, so these ships are completely barren of all oxygen. So even if you close the door, there's no oxygen. I don't know if that's going to change. I kind of hope it does. It'd be nice if you could walk around the ship or a fully enclosed space station, and if you have like an airlock, and it won't utilize your energy, or if you run out of energy, you're not going to suffocate to death. You just kind of open up your helmet. I think that would be cool, but I don't know if that's something that they're going to get into. That seems like a whole lot of logistics for, you know, kind of a minor thing. But anyway, I'm going to end this here. I'm going to call this part 1. Next time, we'll get into more of the mining and, you know, general getting yourself sorted out. So, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we will see you next time.